Welcome to CAD 118, Advanced AutoCAD with Joe and Al. Today we're going to look at Module 1, which is located under the Content section in D2L. In Module 1, we're going to look at 3D basics. How to use the interface, how to view the 3D model, how to use the UCS or User Coordinate System command. And then we have these practice exercises for you to do as part of this module. We also have two drawing labs. We have Lab 1A and Lab 1B located here. If we take a look at the practice the practice drawing, we can download it under CAD Practice Files Student. If we go to our AutoCAD, which I have running with the interface, I have the file right here. And you can download it and then open that file just as I have done right here. And then as we look at the interface, we have the main ribbon across the top of the AutoCAD system. I like to hit this little arrow here with the line over the top and make sure that the menu bar is enabled. If I turned it off, you can see it's turned off there. And here it's turned on. We're in the modeling interface. So if we go to the gear here, we can select 3D modeling. And then as we take a look at our interface, we have our modeling commands, our solid editing commands, draw commands, modify, selection, coordinates, viewing, as well as a number of other areas here like layers. If we take a look at the textbook for Chapter 1 is located in D2L. And it's this 3D basics. How to use the 3D interface, how to view the 3D model, and how to use the user coordinate system. They will use templates like this AutoCAD 3D template. And here's our main interface, as we talked about. Tabs and panels, view controls, 3D model, navigation bar, workspace, visual style controls, crosshairs, viewport controls, and UCS icon. So the first thing that we look at is these different presets. And so we can navigate through these different presets in AutoCAD to be able to see our model within these different views. And they use the view cube as a way to visually be able to navigate the 3D space. And so if we take a look at that, this is our view cube here. And right now, if we were to take a look at that, we have the top view, front view, right side view. I click on the top view. It'll give me that perspective. I can go back to the home view. Here's the left side view. Back to the home view. Front view. Back to the home view. I can also navigate or rotate around the part by going around the south, north, east, west compass situation there. I always like to go back to the home screen. And so we have these different navigation modes for viewing in 3D. The views are always related to the world coordinate system. And think of the world coordinate system as the Earth. You're in the Earth world, and north is north, south is south, east is east. And so as we go through and we start working with these different views, they will be coordinated to the X, Y, and Z user coordinate system. We can go through and change some of the settings in the view cube. I don't really think that's really too necessary at this time for this exercise. And then, as I said, we can open up this first practice file and take a look at the view presets. And so basically all we want to do is open this drawing up in AutoCAD and try out some of these different commands. We can orbit by selecting the orbit command and use free orbit and continuous orbit. So we can orbit by going under the view pull-down menu, selecting orbit, and then we can look at these different types of orbit commands. Constrained orbit, free orbit, and there really isn't much difference with these. You can right mouse click while you're in that command, and you can get it to enable other things like visual styles, preset views, as well as other navigational aids. So if we wanted to go back to constrained orbit, we could go through it here, continuous orbit, adjust it, swivel, walk through, fly, zoom, etc. And as you move the mouse, what it does is it centers on the green ball here. That will then show you the different perspectives. As we look at the orbit, you can hover over these balls located at the 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 3 o'clock position, and then orbit within that axis. And so if I hover over here, now I'm constraining it vertically. If I hover over here, I'm constraining that horizontally. You can hit escape, cancel out, go back to our main perspective by going to the view cube. Things like continuous orbit, will allow you to orbit around the part, and it just keeps moving. It's kind of neat for demonstrations if somebody wants to see what you're working on. Again, hit the escape key, go back to the main home screen. Visual styles allows us to take a look at the different settings for working with the CAD system. So if we go here to the conceptual menu, we can see this as a 2D wireframe. Conceptual, hidden, realistic, shaded, shaded with edges, shades of gray, sketchy. This one's kind of neat for architectural work. Wireframe, and X-ray, which is kind of a X-ray, see-through. I'm going to put it back to conceptual, and we'll continue. Okay, let's take a look at practice 1.2, which is orbit, steering wheels, and visual styles. And so we can open up the practice 1.2. And that will give us this city model. And if we right click, we can select the orbit tool or steering wheels. And as we look at the steering wheels, what you want to do is you want to hover over the function that you want to work with. So if I wanted to orbit, I hover over that, and I hold the left mouse key, and I'm able to orbit the city. If I want to pan, I hold the mouse over the pan button, and I'm able to pan. If I want to zoom, I hold the mouse over the steering wheel, and I'm able to zoom in on these different components. If I want to walk through the part, I can say walk, and then I can drag the mouse and kind of fly through the city. And then if I want to see some of the other aspects of it, let's see, we covered orbit, zoom, rewind will go through and show us what we have already previously viewed. So if you hold the rewind, you can go back through your animation, kind of like a walkthrough, and see how you've set that. Hit escape to cancel out of the steering wheels.